Praise God. Praise the Lord, everybody. I trust that you're well. Welcome once again to Baraka TV to a chat with Patience. Today, Patience joins us again for us to just have a conversation, and we are talking about a very well-known man in the Bible. We are here to talk about the life of Samson the Great. Yes, Patience?
Yes.
Karibu, say hi to our viewer.
Hi, everyone.
It's good to see you.
Good to see
in a
you.
minute.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I hope all is well with you.
Yes.
And your family.
Yes.
Okay. Sawa. So, yeah, Samson.
Yes.
Who was Samson?
Samson, most of people have related with him only in the perspective of being an humanizer. A man who is just, the wife was Delilah.
Yes. Samson and Delilah.
Samson and Delilah.
That is how we all know him.
The Sunday school
Yes,
lyric.
yes. That's we used to sing. Samson, alipenda Delilah. Anyway, that's for another day. Okay.
Yes.
So talk to us about Samson.
So today we are just looking at a whole. How was the life of Samson? How did he ended up to hook up with Delilah?
Okay.
People only know Delilah, but he had a wife.
Okay. Before Delilah,
Timnah.
he did have a wife.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So first we'll read scriptures, or I could add that as we read scriptures, I could say part of his beginning of life that from his parents, the father was called Manoah, and the wife, actually they were barren for some time, and actually that one you'll get it from Judges chapter 13.
Okay.
Just a brief history about him. And the angel of God appeared to the wife and told that indeed you are barren.
So that's Manoah's wife.
Yes.
Okay.
The angel of God appeared to her and prophesied and said, but you shall conceive a son and bear a son. And she was excited. She was happy.
Yeah.
But when she was told that, she was given instruction that in Judges 13 verse 4, it says, now therefore please be careful not to drink wine. The son was not supposed to drink any one or similar drink, not eat anything unclean. The other instruction that she was given, that no razor shall come upon his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite.
Okay. Dedicated to God.
Dedicated to God from the womb. You know, when the wife shared to the husband, the husband went back to God and was like, this person that appeared, the angel appeared to my wife, let him appear to me too, to tell me
what he told my wife.
Yes.
Okay.
And true to God, God heard his prayer, and the angel appeared, but appeared to the wife when she was plowing, and she had to run fast to the husband. Come, the man has appeared again.
Wow.
And he went and they had a conversation, and he was given the same instruction that was given to the wife, and that's the time he believed and realized that, oh, God has blessed them. God is going to bless them with a son. So to cut the long story short, we go to Judges.
Judges 14.
Now we talk about Samson's life, you know.
Okay.
And we'll read from Judges chapter 14. We'll do part by part.
Okay.
So we'll start with from verse 1 to 4.
Okay. So here we go. Judges 14, verse 1 to 4. Samson went down to Timnah and saw a young Philistine woman. When he returned, he said to his father and mother, I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife. His father and mother replied, is it there an acceptable woman among your relatives or among our people? Must you go to the uncircumcised Philistine to get a wife? But Samson said to his father, "Get her for me. She is the right one for me." His parents did not know that this was from the Lord, who was seeking an occasion to confront the Philistines. For at that time, they were ruling over Israel.
I love, I love how God works. Samson is day, like going to Nairobi County, Mombasa County, and he saw a young lady, a Philistine. And then, as a Christian, they were not, as a Nazarite, they were not supposed to marry from a foreign, and a believing foreigner, the Philistines. They were not supposed to marry from that. But when you read this, there's a character that comes out from Samson, because he after even being questioned by the parents that is there no other daughter, you know, that lady. Yes, of among daughters of our brethren, you know, among our people that you can marry from the Nazarites. And he didn't even explain. He was like, "Dad, get her for me," you know.
That's the right one for me.
That is the right one. And that one brings out something that, if you look at his character, he brought out self-centered. It was his desire, because he saw and he was like, "That's the one I want." He didn't want to understand where the parents are coming from, despite he was raised in a godly way, in the ways of the Lord, and he was walking in the will of God all since he was young, and when he's big, he was still walking. But when his eyes opened, I saw a lady from the other side. It was like, Dad,
He's
that's what.
So
it brought out the selfishness of Samson.
Okay.
So for the other part was, but his father and mother did not know that it was of the Lord that he was seeking an occasion to move against the Philistines. I love God. God used the bad situation. Because marrying a Philistine, it was a bad situation. To fulfill his purpose. Because it indicates in the Bible that when the parents didn't know the Lord, that he was seeking an occasion to move against the Philistine. So the fact he was moving towards marrying a Philistine lady, God used it for his purpose.
Okay. To liberate the Israelites from the Philistines.
Because they had dominion over the Israelites. So God saw an opportunity, because in Ephesians 1:11, God uses all things for his purpose. So he seized the opportunity. Despite Samson was wrong. He was wrong. God didn't address that at that point. There was no mention that God had spoken to Samson that he was doing wrong. The parents had already done that. But he decided, anyway, that's the lady I want. So God used that for his purpose. So sometimes you find somebody has gone astray in life, got pregnant out of wedlock, and God ends up using that child
for his own purpose. That's true.
But it doesn't mean that you are right. You are wrong. Yes.
So we continue reading from verse 5.
Yes.
Okay, so verse 5 says, Samson went to Timnah together with his father and mother. As they approached the vineyards of Timnah, suddenly a young lion came roaring toward him. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, so that he tore the lion apart with his bare hands. As he might have torn a young goat. But he told neither his father or mother what he had done. Then he went down and talked to the woman, and he liked her. Some time later, when he went to marry her, when he went back to marry her, he turned aside to look at the lion carcass, and in it he saw a swarm of bees and some honey. He scooped out the honey with his hands and ate it as he went along. When he rejoined his parents, he gave them some, and they too ate it. But he did not tell them that he had taken the honey from the lion's carcass. Continue. Now his father went down to see the woman. And there Samson held a feast, as was customary for young men. When the people saw him, they chose 30 men to be his companions. Let me tell you a riddle, Samson said to them. If you can give me the answer within the 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. If you can't tell me the answer, you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. Tell us your riddle, they said. Let's hear it. He replied, out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. For 3 days, they could not give him an answer. Verse 15. On the 4th day, they said to Samson's wife, coax your husband into explaining the riddle for us, or we will burn you and your father's household to death. Did you invite us here to steal our property? Then Samson's wife threw herself on him, sobbing, you hate me. You don't really love me. You've given my people a riddle, but you haven't told me the answer. I haven't explained it even to my father or mother, he replied. So why should I explain it to you? She cried the whole 7 days of the feast. So on the 7th day, he finally told her, because she continued to press him. She in turn explained the riddle to her people. Before sunset on the 7th day, the men of the town said to him, what is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? Samson said to them, if you had not plowed my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle. Then the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. He went down to Ashkelon, struck down 30 of their men, stripped them of everything, and gave their clothes to those who had explained the riddle. Burning with anger, he returned to his father's home, and Samson's wife was given to one of his companions who had attended to him at the feast.
Yeah. What a story. As the parents were going, thank you for reading.
You're welcome.
As Samson were going down to Timnah with the parents, he faced one of his challenge in life. And it was a young lion came and ran against him. And the Spirit of God sat on him. And he tore it, tore it apart like a young goat. Sometimes in life, yes, you might take a detour of not walking in the ways of the Lord. You'll still meet challenges along the way. He met the challenge, faced it, God
gave him the power.
The Spirit came upon him mightily, and he dealt with it. God didn't forsake him because he knew the purpose that was going to fulfill. It doesn't, challenges he faced. He was not omitted to not facing the challenges, but he faced the challenges and that was the first one. Something that he did that in the beginning, I think he was already, when children grow in a certain way, when you're training them, they know, don't touch the gas, it will burn you. Don't do this. He knew, coming and raised from the Nazarites, he had already been told the do's and the don'ts. So when he was excited, coming from Timnath, going to the parents. The young lion that he ripped like a young goat, there was bees already hived there, and there was honey, and he scooped. And he ate and took the same to the parents. He didn't tell them. Remember, there was the first time he killed the lion, he didn't tell the parents. The second time, he ate from the honey from the carcass, he didn't tell. Doing that, he had already broken the vow that he was not supposed to touch.
Okay. So I have a question there, Patience. So here we are seeing him being disobedient because there were laws that had been set before.
Yes.
And part of those laws were, like, for example, you should not, if there's a carcass, if you touch a carcass, you're supposed to cleanse yourself.
Yes.
But he did not say anything about killing the lion, had the function they were having. On his way back, still took some honey from that carcass. So, like, he's disobedient again.
Continuously.
Okay.
Continuously. Okay. And he did that. The other thing, he held a feast for young companions. They were called like that, young guys. He held a feast. Holding a feast meaning that you have a weekly long party of drinking and drinking and drinking. Meaning that he also indulged, which he was not supposed.
Okay.
That's another vow he broke.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Here we see two vows. The other vow that also he broke, it's still of touching of when now the wife betrayed him by giving the secret.
Okay, to her people.
To her people, whining, you don't love me. Sometimes in life we're like, oh, honey, you don't love me. You're keeping secrets from me. What?
Yeah.
Then you're told, and you're quick to go tell to other people, and he got mad and he went and killed 30 men. 30 men. And he took the apparels and change of their clothes and gave to the people who had answered the riddle.
Okay. Because he had made a promise that if you tell me the truth about the riddle, then I will give you. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So, meaning that he touched the dead bodies. So he broke the vow twice.
Okay.
Touching the carcass, getting the honey from.
Okay.
Killing. The third one we'll get to see way later.
Okay.
Because he broke 3. All 3, he broke them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in life, God is extremely merciful because at the end, he was still killing the Philistines. He was still operating in God's purpose.
Yeah. It's so... Sometimes it's really hard to understand God because here we are in our real life. God has purposed your life for something bigger, something greater. And I remember at some point you said he took a detour. So these detours that we take in life, for example, now you are supposed to do this, you're supposed to go this way, but you decide, let me first of all take this corner, I check out what is here, then come back, then again you go check out what is here. But God in his mercy, because he knows the purpose you need to fulfill is right here.
Yes.
He will still give you another chance and another chance and another chance.
And he's not speaking. He's quiet.
Okay.
He's not communicating to Samson.
Wow.
Sometimes in life, God blesses you, put you in a place. There's no godly people. You're in a company. You're the one, you're saved. You've been trained up, walking in the ways of the Lord.
Yes.
And you get in But you know there's like a character inside you, you know. And the enemy already knows there's that weakness in you. But God does not look at your weakness.
Yeah.
He focuses on the what you've been trained, who you are in
What He
Him,
has called you to
and
be.
what He has called you.
Yeah.
So you're given a job, you're an accountant, and you have a weakness of stealing money. 1 year you're there, you've stolen some money, God is quiet. The next year, you've stolen, broken rules, you've disobeyed God.
Yeah.
You've gone back to drinking, you feel your pride has stepped in. Umefika. You've reached in English.
Yeah. Okay.
And God is still quiet because He knows you're still fulfilling a certain purpose, but you, inside there, they know you're a child of God and they're seeing a different side of you.
Right.
But behind the scenes, you're disobedient to God. You're not walking in His ways. You're back into drinking. You're back into things that are not pleasing God. Things that God hates, gossiping, being malicious, you know, many other things that you're doing. But God is silent because He has an agenda ahead. He has a purpose for you. It's like waiting for you to realize what you're doing. But it has not hit you yet.
Yeah.
And He's like, He has a plan. It's okay. I have a plan to fulfill.
Wow.
So as we continue to chapter 15, we'll summarize where Samson, after he has already killed the 30 young men, he goes back to his wife. He wants to get back to the wife, but unfortunately the wife had already been given to
another.
Like a best man, somebody who was
Close to him.
close to him,
Wow.
a best man to have companion, and he gets more hungry. And he has another plan to destroy the Philistines vizuri, very well. And he gets jackals and ties them, put torches, many jackals. I don't
That is in chapter 15.
Chapter 15,
Yeah.
chapter 15, verse 3.
Verse 3 and 4.
Yes.
Samson said to them, "This is the time I have a right to get even with the Philistines. I will really harm them." So he went out and caught 300 foxes
300 foxes.
and tied them tail to tail in pairs. He then fastened a torch to every pair of tails, lit the torches, and let the foxes loose in the standing grain of the Philistines. He burnt up the shocks and the standing grain together with the vineyards and olive groves.
And it destroyed their properties.
Everything.
Everything. Their treasures. He got angry. It's like, you've given out my wife, the one I saw and loved, to somebody else. And she's the one who was on the wrong from the beginning because he was given a secret from the husband. And he decided to give it to his...
to tell the
to his-
Philistines.
to his people.
Yeah.
So he was so angry and he was like, you will see and you'll know who I am. And that one didn't come from God. But the plan of God was to destroy the Philistines.
Okay.
So he was in God's purpose yet of destroying. And the foxes, 300 foxes went in and destroyed because of the torch, the fire burnt everything of the Philistines.
Wow.
And the Philistines were mad. And they were asking in verse...
Actually, in verse 6, it says, when the Philistines asked who did this, they were told,
Yes.
Samson, the Timnite's son-in-law, because his wife was given to his companion. So the Philistines went up and burnt her and her father to death.
And the wife died there. His own people
Yeah.
killed his own wife and father and the family of what he did.
Wow.
And that destroyed part of what, because the wife was still a Philistine. He had not transformed to the ways of God, of what
Of the Nazarites.
of the Nazarite.
Yeah.
Was he taught? Was she taught about it? I doubt she was not, because she was really hooked up to the ways of the Philistines. You imagine her, she didn't turn to their gods. She devoted herself, even after knowing that she is married to a Nazarite.
Yes.
She kept her faith. She was on her faith. She didn't come to this other side for Samson.
Okay.
So how many times you're told, don't marry unbeliever, and you're like, no, I'll marry. I'll transform her in time, within time, with time when we get married. And when it doesn't, that lady pulls you to her world. You start drinking. You start doing things against God.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many times have we faced those things? Have we seen in this day and life people doing things in their ways, thinking that they're helping God, and they're not?
That's true.
But at the end of the day, God uses it for his purpose, because he has a purpose at the end of the day.
That's true.
So the wife died like that.
Wow.
And as days goes by, years, Samson ruled and judged Israel in the days of Philistines for 20 years. For 20 years.
Yes. That's the bit most people don't know, that Samson actually ruled the Israelites for 20 years. Yeah.
20 years. That's a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I want us to bring in the other aspect where after that happened, Samson still burnt with a lot of anger.
yes,
He was very angry.
extremely angry.
And so I was just reading verse 7, says Samson, so the Philistines went up and burnt her with her father to death, okay? So Samson said to them, since you have acted like this, I swear, so now here it's
It
him,
becomes high.
I.
The self-centeredness.
that
Selfish
I
come
won't
out.
stop until I get my revenge on you. So now it has reached that point where in our lives, when someone hurts you, you're like, I will, wewe, nimekupangia, you know. You will see. He attacked them viciously and slaughtered many of them. Then he went down and stayed in the cave, in a cave in the rock of Etam. So here we are seeing how Samson decided to take revenge
On himself.
for himself.
Yes. And not for
Against
the
them.
and it's not for
the
God,
right reason.
and not for the Israelites. It was for herself.
For himself.
For himself.
Yeah.
For himself. Because the person that he loved so much was killed. Alinyimwa, the wife, you know.
Yeah.
And thou, another issue that you've brought out, another character that he had was anger. Anger management. How
Yes.
do you handle anger when people wound you? The same question that you've asked. How?
Yeah.
How do people close to you?
Yes.
Because the Philistines were
people
close to
betray
him.
you, yeah.
And yet the wife betrayed him. She was close to him. So the anger built up slowly by slowly to a point it was like, you will see.
Wow.
So how many times in life have we said, you will see? For people who have betrayed you.
And sometimes it's not even saying it verbally. Sometimes it's just that thought. Because God knows our thoughts.
Yes.
So these things, you can't hide them from him.
Yes.
But you find there's a place in your heart, you're just like, it's our too. Wait, you'll see. Yeah. And you tell it to yourself.
And the Bible says, and God says, the revenge is mine.
It's mine.
Why are you carrying the revenge?
Yes.
Samson decided to carry it. Let's continue.
Wow. Okay. So we continue about reading about Samson. I mean, wow, there are quite some lessons to learn from Samson. Yeah, so far we've talked about self-centeredness. He was very self-centered, wanting things for himself, not consulting God about his wife. Disobedience, not following the laws that were set by God, the laws that were guiding the land at that time. We're talking about anger, and how even when we relate all these things into our lives, sometimes you find you do things out of your own will. You don't involve God. Then when things go haywire, that's when you start coming back to him.